All right, so we're live with I guess it's a special episode, a quick, like Joe Rogan style 5 minute, is this a rant? I don't know. This might be a rant
Yeah,
of
it's
Just
good.
the Geek Top podcast. We have Ahmed Tarani and myself.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I think that we just want to talk a little bit about professionalism in jiu-jitsu. I
Or the
think,
lack thereof.
or the lack thereof. Yeah, I think that, uh, you know, we've had, over the time that we've been doing the podcast, it's been, about a year and a half now, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Over a year and a half.
Yeah, July 2013. Or
Yeah. You see, we've obviously had a lot of guests on. We talked to a lot of people, and it's just it's very frustrating trying to to work with people sometimes. It's not something that like we're making money on, and I get that maybe it's not like we're ESPN or something or the Joe Rogan podcast, but when you commit to something, that should mean something, and it just seems that sometimes it doesn't, and it's really really frustrating.
well, it's funny you mention that. Jiu-Jitsu is one of those sports where I find they are the most unprofessional, non-serious people, yet they want everything. Do you know what I mean? So I find they're lazy for the most part. I find people miss weight more than maybe I'm being extreme, but
I don't know that it's laziness. I think that it people don't treat jujitsu in a large part like a business. And maybe it's because it's not really a professional sport, right? It's mostly an amateur sport, but you know, I feel like, and this extends way beyond, just the podcast. I know I've talked about this before, but I feel like, a lot of people who own jujitsu clubs, for example, they treat it like, I love jujitsu, so, and I'm good at it, or I'm a black belt or whatever, so I'm gonna open up a club, and that should be good enough, right?
Mhm.
They have no business sense. Uh, you know, I saw a comment the other day. Gringo commented on was it Gracie Baja, West Island, Montreal, and he's like, "It's not a real club because classes start on time."
Yeah.
And I get that that's like, I laughed at that, and I know that Gringo was having some fun with Glenn there, but that shouldn't be the norm, right? Like at the last club I trained at, sometimes I would show up and I'd be the sitting there by myself in the parking lot, like on Facebook in the group, being like, "Is anybody coming to open up and teach class today?" And like, that's horseshit. Like that,
Yeah.
people wonder why jujitsu isn't progressing. Why people aren't making money at jujitsu, why people don't take jujitsu seriously, and that's it right there. It's like, I think it's from the bottom up. Like it can still be something that you love, and you can still be a professional about it. And I think that a lot of people just take it way too fucking casually.
Man, I don't even know what more to add. You've said everything you said. I agree 100%. But just back to the professionalism that or the lack thereof. Sorry. The fact is that how many times you hear people missing weight for a tournament or I won't do this one. I'll do the next one. And I understand that if you're a casual guy like myself, but there's a lot of full timers that and we've had on who blow off tournaments and don't like you must know especially here locally, they sign up or they get signed up for free by their school, whatever. That's a whole different topic. And they just don't show up.
Yeah.
You hear why they didn't come. Oh, he was doing this. I don't want to give specific examples, so I don't want to call out any names. But people just don't come out. They didn't feel like it. They stayed up late, and you want to be treated like a professional. Like never mind not showing up on the podcast. And we've had conflicts before. I mean, but mind you, we've had conflicts with guys like Ensign NOA who thought we were going to call him and we didn't have his phone number. We've had conflicts with AJ Agazarm. He just won Nogi Worlds.
Yeah, like 5 minutes before he was supposed to be on the podcast. So,
Yeah,
we can
they
get.
have good excuses, and we hope to get AJ on. I have been in contact with him. He's just super busy, and he's legit busy. But when we have other people who are like, no offense, but you're not on their level, and you probably never ever will be. Wouldn't you take the opportunity to? I mean, we do reach out to a big audience. I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, and I'm not saying look at YouTube and all that, but like the stats show we reach a lot of people, especially in audio. Like you have a broad audience here to help you. Like you know what I mean? We can just come here, me and Adam. Look, we're doing it by ourselves. Like you know what I mean? Like we don't really need you, but we're giving you a platform to speak and get your word out there, your message. Maybe you want to, whatever it is. But I don't know, Adam. Like I just
Yeah, you see guys like Joe Lozon, for example. Like
yeah,
Joe, he was super fucking organized, right? And that's Joe Lozon, right? Like,
yeah,
he's a big deal, right? Like, he's been around, he's well known, right? Fought in the UFC. And it was easier to get Joe Lozon than it is to get some of these like local guys. It's crazy.
absolutely, absolutely. And I don't know, maybe the local guys are just no selling the show, Adam. Like, you know what I mean? But you know what? And look, it goes both ways. We have also canceled on guests before. I apologize. We were supposed to have, and I still do, plan to have George Brito on. We just booked him on Thanksgiving, a Canadian Thanksgiving by accident. That was my fault. So I mean, look, it goes both ways. Like we make mistakes too, and I understand if something came up, and I'm sure there's good explanations, maybe in their head. Do you know what I mean? But some guys we've been trying to book.
Well,
Some guests that we had, and I don't want to say who, but we've tried 2, 3 times, and they've come on our show. The fans, of course, don't know that. We don't air that out, but it's happening more often than not.
yeah. And nobody's saying that life doesn't happen, right? That, that circumstances beyond people's control don't happen. That's fine. But, for me in my life, right, if I've committed to something, right, I've said, yes, I'm going to do this at this time on this day, and something comes up and I can't do it, then, you know, we have people that have confirmed a show and then just not showed up, not even said anything, just don't even show up, and then like later it's like, oh shit, I forgot, or like, I don't know, like if I'm trying to promote myself, then you need to make that a priority, and like I said, it ties right back into the whole lack of professionalism that exists, and I'm not trying to paint everybody with the same brush, but I think I'm speaking generally that there's a lack of professionalism in jiu-jitsu.
And you mentioned it earlier. Jiu-jitsu is not a professional sport. No matter how many make a chump pages we see people put up, you're not. I mean, go to makeachamp.com. You see, it's mostly jiu-jitsu people asking for money. The odd time you get people who've got Pan Am. Not, no, I'm not talking jiu-jitsu Pan Ams, like the Pan Ams, like the Olympic style.
Yeah, yeah. The
People.
Pan American Games.
Yeah, Pan American Games, right? There's pages people who are trying to make the wrestling team for the Olympics. Like I saw one the other day. You know what? These are professional sport. Yeah, they're amateur, but there's professional ambition, I guess. And jiu-jitsu
Well,
doesn't have.
that's the highest level of amateur sport, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
look at
the
the
Olympics.
Olympics.
Yeah, and unless it's professional, we're going to expect to do this, get the same sort of behavior of people, no showing, and because you know what, they compete and do worlds and get no money, so they're like, well, why am I going on a podcast and no
Yeah,
one's got like, you know what I mean? There's nothing in like, there's no monetary gain for them.
yeah. Okay, but I'll take it. I'll take it outside of the context of jiu-jitsu here for a second. If you act like an amateur, you will always be an amateur, and that's it. That's life, right? If you want more for yourself, then be more. Expect more for yourself. Then
Yeah,
don't be shitty, right? Like, I don't know. It's just I'm pissed off about it. I think it's stupid, right? Like, we have lives too, right? We try to be professional, right? We set up the episodes. We have things going on in our lives too, right? Like,
at
it's
it.
not like I'm just sitting by my laptop all day waiting to record a fucking podcast. I like doing this. I enjoy it, but also I have a life, right? So if I'm traveling, I have plans. I have to cut them off early on a Sunday to come here and do this. I'm fine with it, but I'm not fine with showing up and then just nobody's there.
The
That's
first,
bullshit.
don't, and you know what? You do this all the time too, and I know I do it myself. If we're traveling for work or whatever, what's the first thing we do? We're like, oh man, I hope my Wi-Fi is in good connection. We do tests on a Friday or Saturday, make sure that things work. Like if some of us have to bail, it happens once in a while, but like we really do try to put out the product as often as we can, and we can't tell people how often we've had the discussion of saying, you know what, like let's just scrap it, man. Because if the guests, I mean, the fans, don't get me wrong, they're always asking and stuff, and they really like the episode, but we're working with people who are very impossible to work with. And honestly, be honest, I'm not really even a fan of most of them. I just like, you know what I mean? I respect what they've done for the sport. At Worlds, I ran into many of those supers. I don't take their pictures. I don't go taking pictures of them. I don't care. I get them on because I know people like them, and I respect what they do as people. I don't view them as above me, so I don't give a shit about their photos and all that kind of stuff. So I remember there's somebody who asked me, he's like, hey, why do you do this podcast? Are you like a fanboy or something? Absolutely not. I barely know who they are. And I know I must sound bad, but like I said, I respect what they're doing in sport. They can kick my ass in jiu-jitsu. That's pretty cool. If a guy can, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. If somebody's better than me at something, I will respect them. And that's why we get them on a show, so hopefully they can help some other people, maybe even myself, not to be better than them, but just, you know, to improve. And that's why we do it. So anyway, Adam, well, that's my rant. So
It's good.
yeah, so that's it.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what else to say. I'm really irritated, and I know, Ahmed, you've been looking for me to turn heel for a long time now.
I love it.
You know, it's a glimpse. I'll give you a glimpse right now.
Yeah, and you're like cursing. You never curse, really. You never really curse. But when you do, it's playful. But this one is like, there's some aggression there. You got the RBCA hat on, and the really, really tight crew neck. Before this episode aired, I asked him, I go, how do you get your neck like that? Long story short, he just told me, you know what, you're either born with it or you're not. That was his answer.
Yeah, it's not like I've got like the headgear with like the chains and like the you know, I got a 45 on there doing like neck exercises. We do we're going off topic a little bit, but we do a fair bit of neck exercises, bridging and stuff like that in class, so
Well, that's
maybe
good.
that helps.
I don't do that. I'm going to. I will do that when I'm healthy. So
I have
yeah.
actually, yeah, a lot of my dress shirts like
Well, yeah, you must be a nightmare because your neck must be like a 19 and
it's 16 and a half.
and you know, the rest of the shirt, I mean, obviously would fit on you like a drape or something, but
Well,
a lot of custom.
struggle is real, my friend.
Well, see, that's what I mean. We got lives. You got our shirts to fit and shit. And
Yeah,
then
like, you know, this is why I do this podcast, right? Because I can't buy off the rack shit.
yeah,
No, I gotta, right? It's all got to be bespoke or custom. So,
yeah.
like, you know, you got to help support me in buying dress shirts. So fuck you if you don't show up.
No one will dress this man.
Yeah.
Man, he's not like you guys. You can go to Walmart or live in his gi all day. This man, he's a very respected man. I'm not gonna say what he does for a living, but this guy, it does a crucial part of your daily lives is from this man.
Yeah, and Tom Taylor is not going to cut it. I'm sorry.
yeah, we can't do that. Like, I'm not
even though we generate no revenue for this podcast, I feel like I'm still expecting that someday that's going to happen.
It will happen, man. Good work, hard work. Unlike most jiu-jitsu guys, we put in the work. We put in a year and a half of no gains at all. If anything, I bought laptops and
yeah, we have expensed so much.
Yeah,
and made so nothing.
Yeah, but we work hard and we put it out there. And some people might think, oh yeah, you know how many podcasts I've seen come and go? They don't last, man. It's not easy to commit time. It's not that it's hard. It's not that it's technically challenging. It's a discipline. You have a time, maybe every week, every 2 weeks, to come on the air and you know, and talk like you know what you're doing. We like look at other people. They get somebody in the interview. It's horrible. I hate to, like, you know, I'm not tooting my own horn, but we do a pretty good job of that.
I think we've been, you know, and that is one place where I'll say that we've been lucky. Maybe that's not the right word. We've only had a few guests where it was really hard to have that kind of natural flowing conversation, right? Yeah. And you know, I not to necessarily toot our own horns, but I think that, you know, we try to do a good job of bringing, you know, that out in people. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't, but yeah. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but we are awesome, so
we are. We do our
show and fucking be on our show.
No, but I know where you're going with that. It's because we're, like I said, we're disciplined. After a podcast, we say, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? I field questions from other people. You improve. You know what? If you're a jiu-jitsu guy or girl, and you want to get your message out there, and you want to you know, you just make a name for yourself, whatever. Yes, competing and doing well, of course, will pay tons. You know, that's your bread and butter, right? You need to compete, you need to do well. But if nobody knows who you are, no one really gives a shit. I mean, there's so many people who medal every year at the Pans and the Worlds, and nobody knows who they are. And it's just how it is. Like it's like it's so filtered down. Like people make fun of boxing because of how many belts there are. Jiu-Jitsu's got like 1,000 weight classes for a different amount of age categories, of course divided by male and female. I mean, have you looked through the competitors list and like the divisions? There's like thousands. You need to set yourself apart and act like a professional. Represent your sponsors, whoever they may be. There's some people who just forward their sponsors' websites and say, "Oh, there's a sale on this gi. Use this promo code. Use Ahmed Rules promo." You know what I mean? Like, you gotta do more than that, man. This is a job. Jiu-jitsu is just half of it, man. You gotta get out there, you gotta represent yourself well. Social media, the way you carry yourself. These guys aren't getting it, man, and I don't think they ever will.
Yeah. You know, in hindsight, like the guests that I like talking to the most are the people who, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, the people that are relatively unknown to anybody, right? Like Cosmo is a good example. Like I loved the Cosmo episode because I mean I would have never known who he was probably, and then a lot of people wouldn't, but that guy's got an awesome story,
Yeah.
right? And that's and he knew, right? There's a guy who's good at he's a professional, right? He carries himself in a professional way. He did the podcast because he's trying to promote the story that he had coming up on Fox, right? Like there's a guy that's doing it the right way, right? And people will know who he is because of things like the podcast, because he went out and he worked for it, and that's it, right? It's
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know I like talking to some of the people at the highest levels and finding out how they train and things like that, but it's not that interesting to me all the time, right? Like sometimes it is. You might want to know how Robert Drysdale trains or something like that, but it's like I'd rather talk to somebody who's got a story to tell.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We had what's the one guy, the blue belt, very recently?
Um,
Erickson.
um,
Erickson Brown.
yes, Erickson.
You guys don't know like what that guy was like. He would call me a couple days before. He called me from out in California. Like I gave him my phone number. He gave me a call. He's asked me what he should do. He fixed up the backdrop. He made sure his audio was working. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like because of us he's starting to blow up now, because I'm not gonna say that. But look at him now on social media. He's got some great sponsors going for him. He's competing a lot. He's doing well. He's just a young kid still. You know
And
what I mean? Like these guys.
we got some heat from some people like after the Erickson episode.
Yo, who do they want? Like Henzo Gracie to come on? Look, he's established. If you want to catch Henzo, he's got books and stuff. You can go read that. You know, read up on that if you like. But you're right. We did get some heat over that, and
Yeah, like somebody messaged us and basically saying like, who the hell is this guy? Why are you having him on the podcast? Well, we have him on the podcast because, first of all, he reached out to us, right? So he made that first effort to say like, this is something that I want to do. It's part of his plan, right? He's trying to promote himself. He's trying to do it the right way. Like Ahmed said, he's reaching out to you to make sure that, he's going to look good and sound good on the episode. So, that's the kind of guy that I'm interested in giving a shot to.
exactly. So, and like I said, don't get me wrong. Like we like the big famous people too, and I love and people like I think that gimmick's kind of sailed. The gimmick sailed a bit, but honestly, like, and I've said it before on air, like somebody like Clark Gracie almost put me to sleep. Just I'm sorry, like I didn't really enjoy that one, but the Cosmo one, yeah, that one really inspired me. You think you got a hard life, you got nothing. Like you're living pretty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't want.
Guys I always come back to the John Machado podcast. Like,
Yeah.
one of my favorite episodes because, he's okay. There's a guy who's famous. He's established, one of the Machado brothers, but like, he's got some great stories to tell, right? And his perspective was great on the martial arts in general. But.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So look, long story short, and this is Adam's rant, so I'm trying to be faced here because he's kind of the heel today. But look, and I'm not just saying for just the gi top, just in general. just try to act professional. You want to be treated like a professional, act like a professional. It's just as simple as that, guys. Whether you're going to work, you're wearing torn up jeans or something like that, just clean yourself up, represent yourself. It's gonna carry you forward in the long run. And maybe this is old man advice for you, but like
No,
especially
that's
jiu-jitsu,
good
man.
advice. I don't.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu, yeah,
I wear a suit every day to work. I don't need to wear a suit to work, but you know what? I want it. It's like anything in life. You dress for the job you want, you look good, feel good. It's it. Like it's all part of being the type of person that you want to be.
yeah.
That's it.
That's it. So let's end it there.
Yeah. So get your shit together, people. Like seriously.
I can't say anything more. That's it.
All right, we're wrapping it up. We love you all. And we'll try to arrange a guest that isn't going to back out on us. And Ahmed's blowing kisses for anybody who's listening to audio.
Of all of you. Hey, listen, women, where are you at? Where you at? I haven't had any messages. We released the episode, and they any women who want to be on the show were like, because I don't know who to reach out to. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of unknown women out there. Maybe they want to get known. And you know what? Maybe there's a couple. Because I don't want to come off creepy messaging a random woman saying, "Hi, I'm from this. I'd like to have you on." Like, it just sounds like, I don't know. Maybe we need like a Canadian / Anglo-Saxon type name or something, like an Adam or something.
Anglo-Saxon.
Because they'll think I'm trying to like bring me in from another country. You know how they do that?
like the movie Taken or something?
No, I haven't seen that movie, but no, like I remember when I went to Cuba, always these Spanish guys would serenade these fat white chicks all the time, and they really fell for it, and they would bang them. They bang them all week on the resort, and they would essentially just get them to, and they warned you on the bus, the tour bus, not the tour bus, sorry, the bus taking you to the resort. They always say, beware of these guys because they're going to try to come hook up with you, and they're looking for a way back into Canada / the U.S. So I don't want to give an impression of some woman that I'm writing her, and she sees my name, and she's going to be like, "Oh, is he trying to get like a green card?"
She thinks it's so maybe they think you like a sex trade worker.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
No, I know what you're saying though, because like I know like Aaron Hurl and Hillary Williams, I think, are two people that stick out in my mind that have posted things about like all the creepy messages they get from dudes on Facebook.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. So
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
Matt and Bill Cousins did it. It's like,
Okay, we'll figure something out.
Yes.
All right, have a good one. We're done. Bye.